Okay, let's kick off video blog number 2 of this semester. As you can see, no hat. I'm gonna change it up a little bit. Well, let's start this off by talking about the plaster. Well, I had a great time with it. I mean, I love digging in the sand, and I love making sandcastles. And I looked at it this way, it's like, instead of making a jutting thing that juts out of the ground, I made it in. And then, pretty much in essence, it was with my hand and my foot, which I found was just fun to wiggle my toes in the sand and dig a hole. But to look at this more so, I mean, I thought it's like, I made 3 things, but only 2 of them came out. Because one of them kind of broke. I should have probably put some sticks in it to reinforce it, but hey, I got 2 things. I got like the super mitten, and as I like to call it, the mega Hulk foot, because it's like a boot. Because pulling my foot out, like, I kind of learned from my hand molds that it's like, you can't be really a perfectionist when it came to doing this. You had to kind of just like, go with it, like, see what happened. And overall, I had a really fun time. I mean, it was fun just to think about like, oh, how do I want to put my hand, or how might this look underground? And I just kind of went at it. I mean, it was just a really fun thing to do, and I enjoyed it a lot. Okay, now to move on to the next part, which is the artists that I kind of did a little bit of research about from the sculpture. The first person I chose was Anthony Craig. Well, looking at his art, it's not so much like ours where it's like, oh, it's a body or capturing the human thing. It's more of these sculptures that kind of, how I describe them is harmonic chaos. Like, they oscillate this way and that way and sway, like crazy trees in the wind. And I thought it was fantastic. It's like, looking at them, it's like, just so, like, so much controlled craziness all in one thing. And being paid to do that, that's fantastic. And then another thing that was really cool about his art was, it was not just like one medium, like most people are like, oh, I only paint, or I only do this. He's like, no, I made some out of wood, I made some out of bronze, stainless steel, some outside, some inside, some large, some small, all sorts of different things. And it's kind of the same thing that we did with our plaster casting. It's like, well, we didn't really know what we were going to do with it, and it didn't capture really anything, like, too correctly, unless someone else, like, some other people probably have, like, a perfect match of their arm or something like that. Mine turned into, like, super mitten and mega boot. So, but it's kind of the same thing, where it's like, when you're going at it, you can't really try to capture all the fine details when you're trying to make something good. You just have to work with it. And it doesn't always turn out how you want it to. It just has to, in essence, you gotta accept it, because sometimes it's like, oh, the paint didn't dry quite right, or the mold I tried to make to do my next piece didn't work so well, or something cracked, or something didn't dry, or you didn't mix something right. The next person I looked at was, like, I'm probably gonna say this wrong, but Dwayne Hansen, and his art kind of, at first when I looked at it, I was like, this is kind of creepy. It's people, like, captured in, like, a set position where it's like, old couple sitting on a bench, person laying in a chair. It's like, creepy. But then, the more I look at it, it's like, well, it's kind of what we did. It's like, we tried to capture a split-second motion of our hand doing something, or our foot doing something, or, like, just we tried to capture life in our art. And he did that in a very detailed way. It's like a contrast to Anthony Craig, who I believe captured the spirit, like the free spirit of life with the chaos of his art, while Dwayne captured the meticulousness of life, that single capture, like that Kodak moment, as it would be, like that one little picture where it's just like, you see everything all wrapped together. And kind of to tie this all together, the plaster casting, in essence, is us trying to capture a little snapshot of life, a tiny bit, like our hand grasping for something, or our palms like this, or our fingers doing that. Just, we tried to capture a snapshot of life. And Dwayne did that by meticulously getting all the details, while Anthony Craig captured that by getting the chaos that is life. I mean, life is never just like, oh, we're just going to sit in this chair and everything's going to be good. It's going to be like, sometimes it's going to be rainy, sometimes it's sunny, sometimes the wind's going to blow this way, but sometimes it won't. Maybe it'll blow that way. Maybe that leaf will tumble this way. Oh, wait, no, it didn't. It went completely the opposite direction. So, both of them capture life, just as we attempted to capture life. And this project overall was fantastic. It's like, the first one, it was trying to capture who we are. Now, this is capturing what we are. Kind of just to tie it all together. And for all those people out there that are watching this, I mean UTAs, and maybe if our teacher watches this, yeah, this was a fun video, and peace.